TITO-FABIAN, and I want to begin my story with my professor from first year, who told me that architecture is about solving problems. This is Africa, and as you can see, is about bricks. My concept, I'm pretty sure you guys are tired of hearing about fractals, but my concept begins about the site. And the site here is in Kibera, Kenya, in Africa, East Africa, Sub-Saharan. And it's the largest slum in Africa. In this site, 50% of the population have AIDS, 20% have electricity, 80% have unemployment, complete misery in this site. And as my professor said, architecture is about solving problems. So, in my opinion, I chose the site in the world that needs solutions. So, here you get a little bit of aspect of how people live in this area. From that, I started to study the history and the culture of the site, which predominantly is the Kikuyu tribe. So this is an old floor plan of a hut layout, going from the individual to the family to the house, to the family enclosure, to the village. So from there I wanted to bring, in a contemporary style, their own style of design back to them, instead of a westernized design. So from there, I implement culture and functionality together. So the circles represent the necessities that the site has, which is, since the main problem in Kibera is that the government is corrupt, like all governments, but this kind of takes the cake. They consider Kibera an illegal settlement. They provide no schools, they provide no sanitation, they provide no medical facilities, they provide nothing. The Kenyan people who live in the suburbs, who have some kind of money, take advantage and exploit, and the poorest of the poor have to pay whatever they can to live there, which is the cheapest in that area. So here, this is my urban scheme, which is taking the circles, and in this location, which is Kianda, which is one of the villages of Kibera. Kibera has 13 villages, but this is the worst off regarding crime, poverty, and just the worst of the worst. So I chose to choose this site. And within it, each circle represents 3,000 people. The entire village has 15,000 people, so I divided it into 5. So my main focus is on these 3,000 people. So from there, I'm focusing on medical necessities, I'm focusing on school, I'm focusing on religion, education, the basic needs. Here you get a little bit of aspect. I wanted to always combine what it is to what it can be, so people can really see the potential. On the, what's the page? So on the top left, this is the density. So within each unit, the black represents 15 people. So, in a regular unit, people, 5 people live in it, and the max 15 people. So in comparison to the entire site, Kibera is 2/3 of Central Park. In Central Park, in a regular day, in a normal day, 30,000 people visit. This, which Kibera has 1 million people. So 1 million people in comparison to 30,000. So you get an idea of the density that they have. In New York, which is a comparison, Central Park, in New York, an individual has 150 square feet of space. In Kibera, you have 9 square feet of space, to give you an idea of how these people live. So below that, these dots, if you could see them, because there's so few, are the water points and the sanitation that they have access to. So 1 out of 300 people have access to a toilet. So just to give you another idea of it. This represents, the brown represents the sewage system that is not fixed, and the blue represents the system that is fixed. This represents how many people have AIDS in the area, which is 50%. So, yeah. This represents the section that I'm focusing on, which affects 3,000 people in an area that is 15,000. This is 20 minutes from Nairobi, which is the capital of Kenya, southwest of Nairobi. So here I wanted to focus on first the housing units. How many are dedicated to housing units? This dedicates to how many are focused on water and medical units. This focuses on vegetation, so people can grow food. And basically I wanted to focus on sustainability in every which way. This represents the wind orientation, which is from the northeast, which explains the angles of all the houses. It's not arbitrary. So here it shows what I wanted to focus on, which was how much water is collected by the systems that I implemented. And also a statistic which I think is very appropriate, very interesting right here, which the FAO from the UN says that $30 billion is needed to stop world hunger, when the US spends $80 billion in a war in Afghanistan. So, and also, with that amount of money that is needed to stop hunger worldwide, we can do it 23 times the amount that we bailed out Wall Street. The water system that I have in Kibera, there's 46 inches of rain each year, and the 5x12 systems that I have can collect 1,500 gallons of water per month. So within the math, with the entire people that I have to help, I can help 3,000 people in both ways, in gray water and clear water, which is for vegetation and for drinking and bathing. So I thought that was pretty interesting. This also shows that the top of the roof has photovoltaic panels that can collect solar power, and also other NGOs and businesses that are involved that can help the design. Here, this is a new design that was done by Eliak Diaz in the Philippines, which is basically taking a water bottle, adding about 3/4 of water and 1/4 of chlorine. And regarding the orientation of the sun, you could get 50 watts of, the same as a 50 watts light bulb. So within this site and within the necessity, I'm thinking about the basic needs. So this is all recycle and sustainability. So I implemented that into my design. Going into a little bit of micro scale into the detail of the building, this shows how the skin works. I chose Africa, especially around that time, it was around September. Somalia was going through a drought, and they were going through starvation. So I felt that it was appropriate going to East Africa. And then I chose Kibera because it's the largest town in Africa. And in Africa, in the sub-Saharan region, there's an abundance of mud and clay. So I figured my fractal would be a brick. So with a brick, same size, you could rotate it. So the climate within the area dictates the rotation of the brick in order to let wind or to let sun. So that's what controlled my whole design. Here, this is basically an image of the existing, which is the slums, and the proposal, which is an open area that allows people to communicate within their own culture, within their own style, but in a contemporary, reasonable way of living. Just because we don't live it, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. These people have needs, and I think us as architects and designers, we have to think about what is our role in society. And me personally, because of my background, I have this certain ideology of helping these people because they need it. And I think as an architect, just as a doctor, it's our role to do it. So that's what I wanted to focus on. This is an image of the shows how the skin works that enlighten. This is an educational facility as well as a medical facility. And also here on the right, you can notice an image of a painting. I wanted to continue what this artist, a French artist named J.R., he did art in Quebec actually, to express the people's expression of how they live. So I kind of want to mix art, culture, history, and contemporary architecture into how these people live. That's it.